Well, hey everyone. It's another episode of the Sean and Eric Show with your host, Sean Chow, and my co-host,
Eric E. Bright.
All right.
Greens.
Man, we gotta do better on that syncing.
No, I was hearing some delay on my part, but
Yeah, brother. How you doing, brother?
Hey, man, it's good to be here with you. I'm feeling grateful for this Sunday night, Father's Day weekend, and feeling pretty good. And yeah, well rested. Although
Awesome.
I could use another tea, but I'm pretty good right now.
Awesome.
Happy to be here. And well, how about yourself, man?
I'm doing all right. It's Sunday, the 16th of June, and it is Father's Day. So, hey, to all of our listeners out there, happy Father's Day. I yours truly am a father. I'm a father of 3 kids. So
Nice.
yeah.
We're wonderful kids. We love you dearly.
Oh, my middle kid. Oh my goodness, she sent me a Happy Father's Day card, right? And it says, "Happy Father's Day from your biggest flex," and
Your biggest flex?
from your biggest flex.
Uh,
So I think that's Gen Z lingo for the thing that I should be most proud about, to showcase
Oh, yes.
my biggest flex. Like flexing your.
Sure. I got it. Okay, get me hip. That's why I come to these calls, so I can learn.
Yeah, so you can learn the lingo. We're getting old,
I know.
Goodness. Well, anyways, yeah. So we haven't had any type of session for how long now? What, like 3 weeks?
3 weeks, almost a month.
Oh man, it's been a minute, and I know you and I both had quite a lot of things going on, and it's kind of impacted our ability to have this. But I'm glad that we were able to sync up on that. I heard you had a pretty interesting few weeks.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything you want to share about your? I hear you've been on a trip.
Yep, I went back to the motherland. Flew back to Ohio for a 3-week little staycation. No, not really a staycation, but went to Ohio to spend some time with family. And my girlfriend came up from Puerto Rico and got to introduce her to my family, and that was really cool. Took a bit of a digital detox, and that felt nice to kind of come back to being a human without a smartphone for a while. I was just using a flip phone for a good 2 to 3 weeks, and it was nice to feel more present. I think just not really worrying too much about what's going out in the outer world, and just have the time to find some peace. And it was helpful. And
Now, was
it's good to
that
be back here?
was that your idea, or was it your girlfriend's, or?
No, it was my idea. I mean, it was basically I felt like too many thoughts going on in my head, like just too much projects, trying to push myself too hard, and just really wanting to take a moment to like rest and refocus. I feel like was really kind of where it was all coming from.
For sure. I should probably do that myself. How often do you do this digital detox type of thing?
Oh well, this has been my longest one, and it hasn't been like consistent practice, so I don't think I do it regularly, but I think it's worth investigating and trying to add to a quarterly or routine or something like that.
For sure. I don't know if I'll be able to do that just with all my work kind of surrounding usage of digital technology, but I do make a strong effort to decompress, meditate, spend some alone time, and just kind of catch my breath, so to speak.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I really notice a big difference too when I do that. So
Man, I love the positive effects that meditation brings into my life.
sure.
Even a short 15-minute break, or trying to get it as early in the day as possible really helps set a level precedent for the rest of the day.
I know is definitely for a person that's always on like myself. It's my age is starting to catch up to me, so being able to do these things is a great help. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But anyways, yeah. Hey, how is Ohio? I mean, Ohio is just for all of our viewers. Ohio is both Eric and my hometown or home state originally. Uh,
Right.
Many years removed now, but that's our original stomping grounds.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Ohio is cool. It's cold though. I must say, it was weird that it would fluctuate like 40 degrees in 2 days, so from like 50 to 90. And besides that bothersome element, the people are friendly. It was good to see some old friends. Shout out to Greg Walton, uh, and shout out to a bunch of other people who I would feel bad if I left out a couple of their names. But it was really good to connect with a bunch of old friends and hang out with family, spend some time
Yeah.
with my dad, my stepmom, and yeah, I mean, it's easy living for the most part in Ohio. It seems like.
Well, I hear we have a heat wave coming up this week, and Ohio's actually it's projected to be hotter than the southern states. So
Yeah, I was
more of
just
that
reading
crazy
about that.
Ohio weather, right?
That ain't right. If only they. I mean, I don't know. I guess you gotta appreciate it for what it is,
Yeah,
and not wish it was any different. And that's what makes Ohio special.
for sure. Well, moving on. I know some interesting news have been popping up on over the last few weeks. A few famous trials have
Mm,
been taking place
that's your honor.
of a political nature. Both former President Trump. He was convicted on all
Mm.
counts, all felony counts relating to the Stormy Daniels hush money.
How many in total were there? I heard there was a lot of
There
felonies.
were a lot. I don't even remember off the top of my head. It was one for every count in which money was dispersed. So yeah, it was a interesting case. But of course, you know, supporters of President Trump are saying that the court is unjust and it's flawed and it's specifically made to somehow damage those that are conservatives or Republicans
Mm.
while supporting liberals. Well, that's not the case because another very famous trial that took place recently was President Biden's son, Hunter Biden,
Hmm.
who had his own felony case he was going through, and which he lost. So he is also a convicted felon at this point. Both are pending appeals, which I'm sure will occur, but they are
Hmm.
both convicted felons. And in his case, it was the purchasing of a firearm while allegedly also a user of controlled substances. So which he lied about allegedly when he did do the filing for the registration of the firearm.
Right.
So yeah, it's rough on both sides, I guess. But
Can there really be justice on stolen land?
well, I mean,
One would
yes.
hope. One would hope.
The short answer is yes, and I,
Yeah.
and I think that for all its faults, and we have had quite many faults in our judicial system throughout the years,
Hmm.
uh, and coming on to present day, I would say that the concept and the process is really it's an impressive system that we have, and I think it's one that is geared toward constantly improving itself and eking out the most just out of complex situations. But then
Right.
again, I tend to be the go pro USA type of guy. So
Senator Sean, you never fail us.
yeah, of course. So oh well, I've also been busy. While you've been doing a digital detox and also visiting our home stomping grounds of Columbus, Ohio, and I don't know
Mhm.
what other cities you've been at while you were in Ohio, but I have been busy making more businesses, and one
Uh,
of which was it's a called lyrictailor.com, like like a musical lyric,
mhm.
Lyric, Tailor as in like a clothing tailor, tailor.com. And it's a simple concept. We create full studio songs of any customization for our clients, and with the usage of a sound studio that is powered by AI. So let's say if you wanted to have a country song that's political in nature, trying to ask somebody to vote for somebody, we can do that. Or you want to have a gangster rap genre song talking about just the most random things like
the traffic in DC.
yeah, traffic in DC. In fact, I have a sample I
What?
want to share. I want to share it, okay?
All right.
Anybody else that would like to see it, feel free to check out our website and buy a song. It, our prices are really cheap. So, all right, here's an example of Gridlock Blues, which is a song I made about DC traffic, traffic jams during rush hour. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Traffic stick, I'm stuck in a jam. Middle finger up, don't give a damn. DC traffic, it's a total mess. Got places to be, ain't got time to rest. Horns blaring, people yelling out loud. Frustration building, can't break the crowd. Tunnel walls closing in, tight squeeze. Gotta keep my cool, ignore the wheeze.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's pretty good, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't want to say anything that's going to hurt anybody's feelings, but I think, it can be a helpful tool for sure.
It's
And
a
I
helpful
think,
tool, yeah.
and that's something that is good.
And it's not supposed to replace actual artists, right? Because the AI is useful as a tool, and people need to, first remove themselves from the fear that it's going to take their job. It's evolving careers. So this is made for a very specific use case, right? Somebody that wants everything from, hey, I just want a really cheaply nice sounding song that sings happy birthday to little Timmy for his birthday, or hey, I want to make a quick and down and dirty political like campaign song or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
This fits the mark.
Sure.
You're not going to get the cutting edge experimental music, the well thought deep type of music that you would have from an actual human, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, don't worry, Taylor Swift fans will still be flocking to Taylor Swift rather than an AI version of Taylor Swift, although they may do both. They may do both. I think at some point there will be more and more, quote unquote artists that are not actual humans. One example is that popular Japanese avatar that sings music, Hatsune Miku or something like that. Yeah. It's not a real person, but apparently, and I don't know too much about it myself, but apparently that's a they this character sings a lot of songs. I mean, not real, right? But it has a huge following. So
What?
yeah. Well, it's Japan too, so
Sure. Yeah, they're on that next level.
they are on a totally different level, different wavelength. So, anyways, yeah. So, you know, uh, a lot of people would ask me, "Hey, why did you make this company?" And it's the same reason why I make any type of company. I actually had a business interview the other day. There was a university in the DC area had some students interview me about being an entrepreneur.
Okay.
And they were asking me like, hey, why are you entering all these different businesses? Why are you doing all this stuff? And then, I think at the end of the day, it's all about opportunity. What really makes an entrepreneur successful is, hey, are you able to identify an opportunity when it presents itself? And do you have the the stomach to kind of roll with it, to be able to push that forward, turn a possibility into reality, and also be able to withstand the, losses, because losses happen.
Sure.
Losses happen a lot. In fact, losses are more likely to happen than not. And if you take more chances, you're going to have numerically more losses. But here's the thing, the more chances you make, the greater the chance you'll succeed at least once. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's why I do what I do, to
Right on.
see what works. I mean, a friend of mine, a former colleague of mine, actually reached out to me the other day, and he said, "Hey, don't you own an ATM business? And how much do you make every month?" I told him, just several $1,000s a month, and he was like, "Oh, it's pretty good." And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it a success, but it would be zero if I didn't do anything, right?"
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, well, beyond that, I've also been studying for the bar, very poorly, by the way. I'm actually quite anxious. It's already the 16th. Half of the month is over, and next month is the bar exam.
Oh
I
no.
think I'm going to be less prepared this time around than before. If I fail, I'm probably just not going to do it for like a year and just study a little bit by a little bit the whole time, because
Well, what are some practices that you can do that will actually help keep you accountable to making sure that you take the time to study for it? Because I'm sure this is a problem that other people have too.
well, see, here's the thing. The absolute best way to stop like being distracted is to remove the things that are distracting you. So, and it's more than me just, it's not just me saying, "Hey, just remove your distraction." I'm not just saying that. I really mean all the things that take up your attention. And for a lot of people, that means your family. That means your job. That means all the different things that require your attention on a day-to-day basis. You have to find some way to cut it off. And you need to be able to delegate that. And for a lot of people in my position, it's really hard to do. You can't just shut yourself off, right? Because you have responsibilities. A lot of law students, right? A lot of law students that just graduate, youngins, they don't have those responsibilities yet. They don't have families per se. They don't have a career that they plan on pursuing after getting their passing the bar. For me, I have a lot of businesses. I have a lot of obligations, a lot of responsibilities. It's difficult for me to be able to say, "Hey, I'm just gonna abandon all this stuff and focus on my bar exam." Even just saying it out loud right now, it almost feels selfish, but it shouldn't be, right? Because hey, I have a goal. There's a reason for this. But it's one of those things that every professional, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, you have to juggle that. You have to find out what works for best for you. And, there's going to be a lot of people that say, "Hey, I'm a guru at helping you with time management." Look, man, you can have all the training about time management in the world. At the end of the day, it's, hey, well, one, read up on the Eisenhower matrix. It's a quad chart that basically is how I run my life. It will save you a lot of time and a lot of stress if you just kind of go by it. But outside the Eisenhower matrix, which, by the way, maybe I should just talk about. I should talk about that in a second. But the second part, outside of the Eisenhower matrix, is just saying, "Hey, what is important to me right now?" In the military, we like to use certain interesting phrases to explain ourselves. So, when we're in the rifle range, we have different distances in which we have to shoot, right? And the closest is 15 meters, right? So we like to often use like, "Hey, your 15-meter target is blah blah blah." Well, what they mean by that is, "Hey, this is your up close and personal. You have to hit this this is the thing that is most pressing to you right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is your enemy coming out at you, right in your face. So my 15-meter target, I have to know what my 15-meter targets are and what I need to hit, and what I can kind of push away or delegate away, right? So that goes back to the Eisenhower matrix. Hey, look, it's really simple. It's understanding, hey, what do I need to do myself right now?
Mm-hmm.
Or hey, maybe it's pressing, but I don't necessarily have to do it. Let me delegate it to somebody, right? Or hey, it's important, but I don't necessarily have to do it right now. But I really should be the one to do it. Okay, I'll schedule it for a later time.
Mm-hmm.
Or hey, is it really important? It's not. And do I really need to have my attention to it right now? No. Just get rid of it.
Yes.
That's a distraction. And I dare say for most professionals, senior, mid managers and up to executives and entrepreneurs especially, most of what you will see in day-to-day living really falls into that last category. It's distractions.
Right.
You need to say, hey, I'm going to cut it out. It's not worth my time.
Mm-hmm. I think it's helpful, and there's that whole rule. There's some law or rule about like 80% of the effort, or 80% of the outcomes are done by like 20% of inputs.
So the 80-20 rule, basically, it can be applied to everything. But if you have a company, 20% of your staff will do 80% of the work.
Mm-hmm.
Something along those lines, right? So.
Right. Yeah, it's wild to think about all the distractions, but I mean, I don't know. It sounds like you keep yourself so busy that it's even harder. It's hard to even be able to delegate some of this stuff.
It is, and at a certain point, you have to understand what your actual limit was. A few weeks ago, I want to say probably right after our last session, I actually experienced a really scary thing. I mean, I'm not scared of anything, but it's scary from a existence type of thing, right? I started getting heart palpitations, and it was, of course, we all have heart palpitations from time to time. Like, your heart starts pounding, and you're not necessarily exercising or whatever. But like, this was bad. I've never experienced this before. This was, I would say that the feeling of my entire chest was throbbing so much that I was out of breath. It was like I just ran a marathon, but in the worst possible way. And there was pain. I could that day I took the day off, so I just lost a whole day of productivity there. But then it lasted to the next day, and it was really scary. It was many hours. I was just lying on the couch, not sure what's gonna happen. And should I go to the emergency room or not? And that was right after I lost my temper about something stressful. It reminded me at that time, and also again now in hindsight, that you really have to center yourself, no matter what age you are, and especially as you get older. You have to center yourself, and you also have to realize, the things that occur in this life, it's not that important. Not to the point where you have to live in misery. You have to live in a never-ending, self-inflicted pain. Live the life that makes you happy, the best you know it to be happy. And whatever makes you happy is different to all of our viewers today. But, think about it. Think about deep inside what actually makes you happy. Does making an additional business, does getting another degree, does spending time with family, it could be more than one thing, and it could be different things at different times. But you need to ask yourself, what's important to you, and then put that into the Eisenhower matrix, and then prioritize what's important to you.
Yeah, I like to hear that, man. It's important for us to take these moments to pause and really take time to analyze, what are the really actions that we're taking that align with our values in a way that we feel, I don't want to even say make a difference, but bring us some type of joy and a sense of responsibility, a sense of connection, a sense of growth. I think, it's different for different people, but I think it's important for us to do some of that introspective work and, health scares or just needing additional support. It's important that we reach out and value our own well-being. And sometimes, our body will send us messages that, we have to pay attention to.
For sure. Well, I guess we should talk about my yet another one of my businesses. An update on my real estate side. So our viewers may know that I started another sub-portfolio in my real estate business. Short-term rentals, or STRs, right? As opposed to long-term rentals, LTRs. Long-term rentals are what we traditionally know as, hey, I'm a landlord, I own a property, rent from me. Short-term rentals are, you could own the property, but you're renting it out for short stays, or if you're a STR, like bed and breakfast, or otherwise known as B&B, leverager, a B&B leverager, you don't necessarily own the property. You are the tenant, but you have a contract with the landlord in which you are subleasing the property for short-term stays. There's a lot of risk involved in that, but there's also a lot of benefit involved in that too, because let's say, hey, wear and tear maintenance issues. Well, guess what? It's not your responsibility, it's the landlord's. And on top of that, you're getting the benefit of a nice property, and you're making a significant amount of return by managing it. You're essentially a middle manager for a B&B type stay. So I'm trying out one of these places, right? I'm trying out this portfolio. I teamed up with a vendor to help me identify properties. I actually so regret it. They have been absolutely terrible. They treat me not as a client, and this is several $1,000s that they charge me, right, to be essentially glorified matchmaker for finding properties that I could just do by myself, but it's okay. So there's one that in Florida. Okay, so they've given me a whole lot of properties to look at. They're mostly terrible. There was one where that was in Virginia, Northern Virginia, close to where I live, and I thought it was okay, right? But they did not do the necessary footwork to know, hey, this property actually is not rentable due to some restrictions at the local level, and I already signed the contract. So I'm kind of up, crap creek, right, on this. They made it very painful for me. Let's suffice to say, and it took many more months for me to be willing to look at another property. Especially, they've been giving me a lot of terrible properties too, to look at. I mean, like trashy properties. Anyways, long story short, we're now at another property. This one is in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So you really can't necessarily go wrong, especially in like a touristy town in Florida like Fort Lauderdale.
Sure.
With its own pool and all stuff. I mean, the place is a little messy, but the landlord is charging $3,400. Like, this is what he published on Zillow. So it's on Zillow, this property, right, to rent out, $3,400. And then this matchmaker that I paid thousands of dollars to find this property negotiated $3,600 a month. And I said, how does this make sense? This does not make sense. Right. And they gave me some bullshit about, typically it costs more, if you're doing a short-term rental type of deal than if you're a regular tenant. I'm like, okay, but and did you actually negotiate this, or are you just like, where was the logic in this? Like, where was the discussion? Like, you're supposed to be representing my interests, or otherwise, why the hell do I keep you? Why am I asking you to keep, like, to go into talks with this landlord? And you know the nerve of this person. Okay, they actually implied that if I don't sign immediately and agree to just a total bullshit contract, by the way. You want to know how bullshit it was? The contract was written in that, like, if there was a major issue with the property, that's not the fault of the tenant. So if it was something that was not my fault or my customer's fault, right? Let's say if the electricity, got messed up. The landlord would have unilateral rights to dissolve the contract. And to me, that's fucking insane.
Yeah.
I know this is a family show, but Jesus, it does.
Wow.
And to be told, hey, yeah, if you don't do this, we're just, well, they were pressuring me, and they actually said this: if you don't sign this now, then we'll take it as you're not interested. Keep in mind, I already paid money for the application, so I've already shown interest. So they said, we'll send it to our other clients. I'm like, no, you won't. I know I heard that wrong, because if you are saying that, if you're trying to pressure me unduly as your client to sign something that is poorly written, and if I don't, you will show it to other clients and compete other clients to me, that is the epitome of unprofessionalism, right? Like being unprofessional. And so that person then got their manager, who then tried to badmouth me, saying that I'm being unreasonable and that I'm destroying the deal. I'm like, where's the logic in that? Like please explain this to me. And then they had the gall to say that I was being rude or something along those lines. I said, okay, please tell me. I'm not above being, and I'm not infallible. So if I was being disrespectful, please explain to me where that was, and I will address accordingly. But no, nothing. It was silence. I took it to my own onto my own accord to talk to the landlord. We struck a deal. We were able to get the price that was supposed to be, $34, and then also the insane clause about the unilateral dissolution of the contract was also changed. So,
wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm never gonna go with that vendor again. They have been just an absolute nightmare. In fact, I really want to share their name, but I'm too much of a professional to do that. But I'm sure a lot of our viewers will probably be able to figure that out, who they are and what they are. So
sure. Well, that's an unfortunate experience, but hopefully
it is. Hopefully it goes well, though, right?
Yeah.
But so the landlord is asking for, like, to delay the actual execution of the contract. It's like mid-July or August. I'm like, all right, well, as long as my guys can go in there earlier to start doing plant, like, design and all that stuff, then that's fine. So
Okay.
hey, Eric, if you want, I'll hire you. I'll pay for your trip over there. You can help me design the place.
Yeah, well, my girlfriend's really good at that, for sure. I mean,
all right, we gotta talk. Maybe we can turn that into a side business between us.
Yeah, well, yeah. Let's continue the conversation after the call,
for sure,
after the show.
For sure. Well, hey, look, it's already 10:55, as it says up there. I think we'll end it a little bit early today, but it was really good to chat with you, Eric.
Hey, I appreciate your time too, man. It's always good to catch up.
I always love our chats. You know that, brother.
Yeah.
And we really have to have a guest speaker. In fact, I think we'll have a guest speaker next meeting.
All right.
And I'm gonna demo a productivity tool that I use for my businesses for our viewers, in case they'd be interested on improving their own respective businesses and making their lives easier. So,
Sounds good, brother. Looking
all
forward
right,
to it.
brother. All right, everyone. Hey, have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And yeah, be sure to subscribe to our channel and like. Thanks.
Peace.